A hearty welcome to one and all. And today we are here with a very serious agenda in mind, and that is to discuss the common errors in tenses. Basically, we are dealing with the error detection questions here. So, when you must have encountered error detection questions in your exams, you might have seen that usually the questions are asked from subject verb agreement, tenses, parts of speech, all of those. Right? So today we are solely focusing on tenses and what type of errors they can actually ask you in the exam. So somewhere around, I think we'll be discussing almost 10 of these common errors, and we'll try to kind of keep that in mind whenever we are attempting error detection questions, right? So let's get started. As you can see, the first one is tense consistency. What does that mean? First of all, remember that unity of tense is extremely crucial. And when we talk about tense consistency, for example, switching tenses unnecessarily in the same sentence or paragraph. For example, हम ये बोल सकते हैं जैसे she walks to the store when it started to rain. अब she walks to the store is simple present tense. When it started to rain is simple past tense. That shows that there is disparity in tenses. So the correct sentence would be she was walking to the store when it started to rain. So first of all, they have used inconsistent. आप बोल सकते हो tenses in the same sentence. So you are supposed to make it consistent by seeing what actually suits in the context of that particular sentence. Okay, that's the first error. Always remember tense unity is very very crucial. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम कभी भी present perfect या अचानक से past perfect लेके आ जाए. We have to be very careful as to what are we trying to imply in a sentence, right? So when you see events, especially in the same time frame, अगर आपको ऐसा दिखता है कि कोई प्रोसेस हो रही है या कोई स्ट्रैटेजी एक्सप्लेन कर रहा है या सेम टाइम फ्रेम में कोई चीज चल रही है, सो एंश्योर दैट द टेंस इज रेगुलर थ्रू आउट द पैराग्राफ, थ्रू आउट द सेंटेंस. ओके, मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट वन, wrong past tense form. What does that mean? Using simple past where present perfect or past perfect is required. Simple past is where we use the second form of verb, for example, break, broke. वहीं पे अगर हम perfect की बात कर रहे हैं तो we are supposed to add the helping verb has and have in present tense and had in past perfect. Right? तो हम यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं, for example, I saw that movie already. So you can easily see the time expression already. And that means here simple past tense does not really suffice. So then what are we supposed to use here? Anyone? So this is incorrect. The correct usage of tense here would be I have seen this movie already. Always be careful of time expressions. I hope you can see this. Otherwise, I'll use a different color. Yes. Another example could be she left before I arrived. Always remember that if there are two actions happening and one action is happening before the other, the first action would always be in past perfect tense. So I'm giving you another example here. This is the most commonly asked error question based on tenses. As you can see, in both the parts, we have used simple past tense, but no, that is not really the key here. तो सबसे पहले तो हमें ये ढूंढना पड़ेगा कि which action happened first. So as we can clearly see, this happened first, and this happened later. So this will be in past perfect tense, and the rest of the sentence remains as it is. I hope that's clear. So basically, always remember that if they have given you a sentence where two activities are happening and both of them are given either in simple past tense or past perfect tense, तो वहाँ पे be very vigilant and understand which action happened first and accordingly change it to past perfect and the other one to simple past, right? Then let's see the next rule. प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट वर्सेस पास्ट परफेक्ट, व्हाट डज दैट मीन? प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट में होता क्या है, पहले तो ये पता होना चाहिए. So, if we talk about present perfect, we are talking about has or have plus the third form of verb, which is also known as the past participle. For example, break, broke, broken. Broken is the third form of verb, right? And if I'm talking about past perfect, then past simple, sorry, simple past tense is singular or plural, the second form of verb, and the object. So, error is using present perfect with time expressions of the past. हमेशा याद रखना, never use present perfect with definite time markers. Now, what are definite time markers? Like yesterday, last year, or probably a year that has been given to you in 2005. अगर तुम्हें वहां पे डेफिनेट टाइम मार्कर्स दिख गए हैं तो वहां प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट यूज करके कुछ नहीं होना है एक्सेप्ट फॉर वन रॉन्ग आंसर. Always remember, if there is a definitive time marker, we have to use simple past. Okay? ज्यादा सोचना नहीं है. टाइम मार्कर दिख रहा है, टाइम एक्सप्रेशन दिख रहा है, इसका मतलब है सिंपल पास्ट टेंस. That is basically your answer. So here I have visited last year. I have visited London. Can you see a time marker here? Yes or no? Yes. So we have used here present perfect, but मैंने अभी just क्या बताया था, अगर आपके पास definitive time marker है, that means you are simply supposed to use simple past tense. I visited London last year. Got it? Then taking you to the next one, or if you want to see one more example, it can be we have purchased this car in 1998. As you can clearly see, the time marker is given, so this is not needed. We purchased this car in 1998. Simple, right? Then, future time clauses using will, after, when, after, before, as soon as, etc. These are also time expressions, by the way. तो अगर हम यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं, for example, I will call you after I reach home. They have already given you the word after in this list, isn't it? So remember, यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है कि whenever you see these words being used, so you use the future time clause, which is will. Okay, I will call you after I reach home. But वहां पे वो लोग आपको जानबूझ के ऐसा क्वेश्चन देंगे, I will call you after I will reach home. तो इसके बाद using will makes the sentence grammatically correct. Know better, know your rules, basically, right? So as soon as you see future time clauses like when, after, before, as soon as, तो remember that उसके बाद हम after नहीं use करेंगे. After will come before it if at all the sentence demands or requires, right? अगर हम टाइम क्लॉजेस की बात करें तो यूजुअली हम ये भी रहता है कि सिंपल प्रेजेंट भी यूज करते हैं, नॉट फ्यूचर. ठीक है. देन मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट वन, unreal past conditional sentences. What does that mean? It means hypothetical situations. What are hypothetical situations? जो शायद कभी होंगी ही नहीं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कैन आई बिकम अ फेरी? No. Can I become invisible? No. But I am wishfully thinking about it. Right. So whenever you are wishfully thinking about something which is unreal, which is hypothetical, which is a figment of your imagination basically, जैसे कि हम बोल सकते हैं, if I was you, I would apologize. ठीक है, but can I become you? Obviously नहीं, simple सी बात है. So always remember, in hypothetical situations or conditionals, conditionals usually begin with if, क्योंकि there is a condition in it. ठीक है, तो जैसे ही तुम्हें कोई सेंटेंस if का दिख रहा है, was changes to were. Technically देखा जाए तो grammatically we use I was, but as soon as it is a hypothetical situation, it should be I were. If I were a fairy, if I were the most important person in the world. Okay, so these are hypothetical situations, and that's where we use were with I. Remember that. Okay, please look at this for a moment and then we'll move past it. The next rule says since and for usage. तो यहाँ पे मैंने examples भी दिए हुए हैं. पहली बात तो let's understand where do we use since. We use since when we are talking about the starting point, when where we already are clear about the starting point. Whereas when we talk about for is used to talk about duration of time. Look at these sentences. I have lived here for 5 years. ड्यूरेशन पता चल रही है और इसी की वजह से ये करेक्ट है. I have lived here since 2009. This is the starting point. तो ये भी करेक्ट है. But if you see a sentence, I have lived here since 5 years. Duration के साथ we can't mix starting point. Got it? Another example could be we have known each other hmm, we have known each other for or since 4 years. So tell me, is 4 year the starting point? Have you been given the name of the year? No, not really. So obviously this is talking about duration, and that's why for is the correct answer. We have known each other for 4 years. Got it? Then, as you can see, this is basically the last rule that we are going to discuss here, which is based on stative verbs in continuous tense. Stative का मतलब होता है where we are talking about simple present. Okay, simple present का फंडा बहुत simple है. With singular subject, we add s or es to the verb because we have to make the verb also singular, plus the object. With plural subject, the first form of verb remains as it is. Okay, so remember, using continuous tense with non-action or stative. Stative का मतलब ही something which is fixed or static. Okay, like you might see certain verbs like know, like, love, belong, believe. Wherever you see these verbs in question, that means it's time for you to become super attentive. For example, हम यहाँ पे example एक उठा सकते हैं. She is knowing the answer. And as you can see, no is in the list, right? So यहाँ पे present continuous use करने की कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं थी. All you were supposed to use, just a second, let me, all you were supposed to convey here is, he knows the answer. Okay, so we have seen somewhere around 8 odd rules based on tenses from which common error questions are usually asked. Now, what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to revise these. Otherwise, you are going to end up forgetting it. And that is what grammar is all about, basically. So if you do not practice consistently, you're going to encounter the same kind of problems. And a person who doesn't learn from their mistakes, we all know what we call them, right? So do not be that person. And yeah, we'll be seeing each other soon. So thank you so much for your time. I hope the session was productive and useful for you, and have a great day. Bye bye. Thank you.